Hi friends, welcome back to Ouroboros Tarot. Today's pick a card reading is looking into what it is that the person on your mind regrets the most when it comes to this connection. And I have 4 piles for you guys to choose from today. Pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to. Take as much time as you need to find the pile that sits right with your energy as well as with your person's, and I will see you in a minute. Hi pile 1. So today we are looking into what it is that they regret the most when it comes to this connection. And so first and foremost, before we look into what it is that they're regretting, we're going to look at the current energies going on between the two of you, just so that I'll have a better understanding of what has transpired and you will know whether or not this is in fact your pile. Keep in mind that there might not be a message here for you today, and that's okay too. But to start, we have 48 poised, 69 a fearful world, number 3 the starborn, number 45 laughing and crying, and number 43 deep knowing. Okay, so I kind of get the feeling that for the vast majority of you who have chosen this pile, actually for probably all of you who have chosen this pile, yeah, this seems like a connection that definitely has come to a close, is what I want to say, entirely, completely. And there's been acceptance of this, I would say, on both ends with the starborn here. And keep in mind, acceptance is different than being okay with what's going on. It's just acknowledging that this is what it is. And it seems as though both of you have kind of recognized that right now the path that this connection is on is exactly where it's meant to be. Regardless of whether or not it's hurtful is a completely different story. It seems like the both of you are probably really having a difficult time with this, or are, and I don't necessarily mean a difficult time in the sense of there's just continuous sadness here. It seems more so like it feels like there's a loss. And when steps are taken to move forward and it feels good, at the same time there's an element or a process of mourning that is happening for the forward movement that is taken place. There's still a lot of sadness here, but also there's a lot of growth or a lot of forward movement, of moving forward. I do think with the fearful world and poised here that probably both of you, or perhaps just one of you, is going through a period in which you're trying to appear as if you're unbothered, unfazed, or they're trying to appear as if they're unbothered, unfazed. But this couldn't be further from the truth. There's a lot of energy here indicating that this is something that was very special to the both of you. And the unknown currently feels very, very scary. And there's doubt here. There's doubt for what the future holds. I would say there's doubt for what the future holds for this connection specifically. There's worry here, as well as sadness, and also hope for growth, whether that's individually or together. So there's a lot of conflicting energies here of accepting that this is over, feeling excited for what the future holds individually, feeling excited for the strengths that you're developing currently, but also feeling sad that that's not being shared with the other person. Perhaps there's just sadness here as well. But that's what I'm seeing for what's currently going on. It seems like neither party wants to show the other person just how hurt they truly are. But if that has resonated for you, let's go ahead and start looking into what their biggest regrets are. And for that we have Flasher Moth, and the keyword is Spotlight. We have Revelations Call, number 50, the Cauldron, Pentacles, and Chipmunk, and the keyword is expand. And let's also go ahead and get tarot and see what else comes through. Okay, what are pile one's person's biggest regrets? We have the Three of Wands, we have the King of Wands, the Nine of Pentacles, the Six of Swords. Why is the Three of Wands here? We have the Ace of Wands, why is the King of Wands here? We have the Ten of Wands. Why is Ten of Pentacles? Why is the Nine of Pentacles here? We have Death. And why is the Six of Swords here? We have the Eight of Swords. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. Okay. So the message is coming through very strongly for you guys, pile one. When it comes to what this person's biggest regret is in this connection, they feel as though they showed up in this connection in a way that was very rigid, very stubborn, somebody who really wasn't willing to bend to another person in any sort of way, wasn't willing to compromise perhaps. And because of this defensiveness, because of this rigidness within this person, this inability or unwillingness to open themselves up or to kind of meet you in the middle, they're recognizing that they have no one to blame but themselves when it comes to why this connection has come to a close. It seems as though they didn't fight for you. They didn't make an effort when it was time. It seems as though they kind of stayed in this energy of perhaps wanting to be single, and because of this, wanting to perhaps not be single, but do things completely their way, my way or the highway perhaps, or not have to consider you at all. And because they wanted to be in this inconsiderate kind of selfish energy, this connection has really transformed. And I also get the feeling that there may have been some dishonesty here with Revelation's call. There is, and it could just be that they feel as though they were dishonest when it came to how deep their feelings were for you, or when it came to what it is that they actually wanted to explore with you. But it also could be that they were given an opportunity to come clean and they did not do that, and they weren't brave enough, and they held back in that regard. And because of this, something has broken in this relationship. But there's definitely, I think the biggest thing that's coming through in terms of what they're regretting the most is their own selfishness, their own need for self-preservation is what I would say. It's like they've lived in this cycle of feeling as though they have to protect themselves constantly, and they've lived in this cycle of constantly being fearful of being hurt, so they've never necessarily allowed another person in entirely. And it seems as though once the opportunity arose for them to show you who they are, for them to nurture this connection, to nurture you, it seems as though they became very fearful once again, and rather than take up the challenge, find the courage within themselves to push this connection forward, they decided to kind of act in a cowardly manner. And I think also there's an element here of like not even allowing themselves to acknowledge what it is that they wanted in this connection. And what they wanted in this connection was like a really long-term thing. With this Ten of Pentacles here, this is somebody who really had hoped for this to be a long-lasting connection that could really grow, could really leave behind a mark on the world. And they let it slip through their fingers because they were too afraid to speak their truth and tell you what it is that they genuinely wanted. I kind of get the feeling that they feel as though you might not even understand the depths of their feelings for you. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get some more cards. Let's see what else there is. I have so many different decks. Okay, we'll use this one. What does pile one's person regret the most when it comes to their connection? Okay, we have transformation and full moon. Yeah, there was a missed opportunity here on their end to show up finally in all of their potential glory. It's like they were ready. They were ready to do this. They were ready to be vulnerable, be open. They were ready to show themselves for who they were, or show you what it is that they wanted, and go after what it is that they wanted. And when the moment occurred in which the opportunity called upon itself, they retreated. Let's see if anything else comes through. What is pile one's person's biggest regret? We have ungrateful daughter and earthly mother. And we have spirits to guide you. Yeah. This ungrateful daughter and earthly mother is telling me that they're regretting having been so selfish, or having not recognized what it was that they had until they pushed it away. And then with spirits to guide you here, it's like they didn't listen to their intuition. They didn't listen to what it is that they wanted. And rather than stepping through the doorway to the possibility of everything that their heart has ever desired, they closed the door on themselves. Let's go ahead and get you guys some advice before we close out this reading. Okay, well, that was a terrible shuffle. What is it that pile one needs to hear right now when it comes to this connection? Okay, we have judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique paths and challenges. We have denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with insight, the insight of awareness. And blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. All right, pile one. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you guys today. If this resonated, I would love to hear about what's been going on in the comment section if you feel so inclined. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can do so in my Etsy shop. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to read for you guys today. This is something that I truly love doing, and I hope that I will have the opportunity to read for you in another video soon. Bye! Hi, pile two. So today we are looking into what it is that the person on your mind regrets the most when it comes to this connection. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and look at what the energies between the two of you two are currently, just so that I'll have a better understanding of what is currently going on between the two of you, and you will have a better idea of whether or not this is in fact your pile. So to start, pile two, we have 71, body as a house. Number 20, imagine. The temple. Number 40, co-create. And number 51, your light. Okay, so I feel a very still energy from this. Like, not a whole lot is currently going on between the two of you, at least in the 3D. It feels like both of you are trying to respect one another in some sort of way. So perhaps one person has been in need of space and or is wanting to move away from this connection, so they are not necessarily putting any energy into this because they don't want to lead this other person on, whereas the other person is trying to respect the wishes of the person wanting space. And of course, that's just an example of what I mean by kind of respecting one another's space, one another's wishes, what the both of you are choosing to focus on. There's definitely just an element of reverence and respect for one another here. I do feel as though one of you is manifesting the other currently. It seems like one of you is really, really focused on this connection still, whereas the other one seems to be really focusing on themselves, focusing on grounding themselves, finding their own happiness. It might be that the person who is kind of focusing on themselves has gone through a period of darkness in the recent past and is really trying to bring themselves out of it. And that could be having something to do with this connection, or it could be something entirely outside of this connection that has kind of spilled over onto this connection. Just because we're human and things like that can happen at times. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the energy of somebody still holding out hope for this connection, whereas another person seems to be trying to hold out hope for themselves. So if that resonates for you, if that sounds like your connection currently, let's go ahead and look into what it is that your person regrets the most. Okay, what does pile 2's person regret the most when it comes to this connection? Okay, so we have the Hermit, the Sun, the 8 of Swords reversed, the Knight of Wands. Why is the Hermit here? Okay, we have the 10 of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups. Okay, why is the Sun here? We have the Tower. Why is the 8 of Swords reversed? We have the 10 of Swords reversed. And why is the Knight of Wands reversed? Or, well, upright. We have the 2 of Cups. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. Okay. And then let's also go ahead and get the oracles for this spread. And for that, we have Black Buck, and the keyword is necessary. Shadows in light. Number 14, affluence. Venus undone. And Roadrunner, and the keyword is brave. So what is this person's regrets? What do they regret the most? I feel as though this person feels like they really pressured you in some sort of way. They really put a lot of pressure on you to perhaps open up in the same way that they felt they were opening up, or to perhaps feel the same way that they were feeling. And I get the feeling that they feel like that is part of the reason as to why this connection is no longer kind of active in that active type of energy. It feels like this person was somewhat overbearing. The energy that I'm getting from this is somebody who's very overbearing and very out of balance within themselves, very much leaning toward wanting things to go a certain way, or taking a lot of action without really considering the art of surrender. And I get the feeling that they kind of wish that they would have been a little bit more introspective. It seems like they feel as though they may have rushed things. With this Knight of Wands and the Two of Cups, I get the feeling that they feel as though they rushed things. And I also feel as though they didn't necessarily listen, or like things were very clear from the very beginning and they didn't want to see things for what they are. And even when this connection kind of came to a close, it seems like they refused to accept it. They refused to accept the ending for what it was. And it may have made things a little bit more complicated. It seems as though they are viewing themselves as somebody who was overbearing and perhaps thought that they were doing the right thing, thought that they were being a very good partner or a very good friend. But at the end of the day, it felt very smothering, or it actually came across as something very controlling, very smothering. And it seems like if they would have kind of, with the Sun here and the Tower here, the feeling that I'm getting is that they feel as though if they would have allowed things to unfold naturally, or if they would have just enjoyed the process, enjoyed the ride, been present in the here and now instead of continuously looking toward the future and what their next move was going to be or what their next expectation was going to be, this Tower moment may not have happened. And I kind of get the feeling that they're regretting not necessarily being present when they had the opportunity to. Yeah. That's what it feels like. It feels like they did not allow you to be yourself, is what it is that they're regretting the most. They did not allow you to be yourself. They did not listen to you. And they chose to only see what it is that they wanted to see, which ends up being an energy that's very one-sided when it comes to partnerships. And they're seeing this one-sidedness within themselves, and they regret this. Let's go ahead and see if anything else comes out, if there's anything that I missed. What does pile 2's person regret the most? Okay, we have number 26, boundaries. And we have karmic path. Let's see, is there any other deck that I want to use? Yes, this. And, okay, let's keep going. What does pile 2's person regret the most? Okay, we have 52, dream travel, and the hold. Okay, so yeah, it seems like with boundaries and karmic path here, first off, with karmic path, what I'm sensing is that this is a pattern that this person has kind of, this is a pattern that this person has repeated in many different types of relationships when it comes to perhaps wanting to be in control or wanting to, just like not wanting to see the other person for who they truly are. And with boundaries here, it could be that they regret having crossed your boundaries. If you had created boundaries, this is something that they really do regret. But I also feel as though perhaps they're regretting not having created boundaries within themselves. It feels like they were clinging to something about this connection that wasn't necessarily even there. And like I kind of feel a kind of a sense of like embarrassment almost. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. It's a very clear message that's coming through. Let's go ahead and get you guys some advice before we close this reading out. What advice is there for pile 2 when it comes to their connection? We have growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. We have forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And we have failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Okay, pile 3. Well, this is what, or pile 2, this is what I'm seeing for you guys today. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to read for you. And if this is something that resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section. I always get a lot of joy reading your guys' different stories. So thank you if you do comment. And if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can do so in my Etsy shop. Bye, pile 2. Hello, pile 3. So today we are looking into what it is that the person on your mind regrets the most. And before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and look into what the current energies are between the two of you, just so that I'll have a better understanding of what's going on and you'll know whether or not this is actually your pile. So to start, we have 75, weight of truth, 33, chaos and conflict, the Queen, number 44, thinker, and number 4, mysterious mother. Okay, so it seems like the two of you may have had like a falling out fairly recently. Like this feels like very fresh energy that still stings. It's something that both of you are replaying over and over in your heads continuously, or at least one of you is. And what I'm sensing is that a revelation of some kind has transpired between the two of you. It feels like somebody revealed some information, a certain truth that perhaps they'd been hiding, or that perhaps came to light on its own accord, and it's really caused a rift in this connection. I'm looking at this image of this zebra here, but it has this pattern of a giraffe, and then the pattern of the zebra is kind of breaking away and shattering into the wind. And it's giving me the energy of perhaps some of you or one of you in this connection feeling as though they've lost kind of their sense of direction or their sense of self in a certain type of way. And it seems like right now the both of you are somewhat, with this Queen energy here, this is telling me that there is a desire or an effort on both ends to not create any more damage than what has already been done. It seems like perhaps one of you is either looking for a way, trying to come up with a way in which to forgive whatever this truth is that has transpired, or is searching for a way in which to make things right. But either way, there's like a need for comfort here. There's definitely a lot of turmoil going on in this connection currently. And a lot of, like, I would say, unsureness about what is going to come next, what's going to happen next. So if that resonates with you, let's go ahead and get into the tarot and see what comes through for when it comes to what it is that your person regrets the most. What does pile 3's person regret the most? Okay, so we have the 4 of Cups, the Star, the 8 of Pentacles, and the 5 of Swords. Why is the 4 of Cups here? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Why is the Star here? We have the King of Pentacles. Why is the 8 of Pentacles here? we have the High Priestess, and why is the Five of Swords here? We have the Hermit. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Seven of Wands. We also have Turkey, and the key word is observe, Rainbow Road, number 59, dispersing, alignment, and gorilla, and the key word for gorilla is control. Okay, so what is it that this person regrets the most? So I feel very strongly with this Five of Swords and the Hermit as though this person wishes that they would have perhaps taken a step back from this connection, or ended this connection, or expressed what it is that they had realized about this connection prior to having taken action. It seems like this person had a wandering eye, and this could have been for other people. I'm kind of getting the feeling that this person had an opportunity to open up their heart to another person and they chose to do so, or they put themselves in a position in which they were open to the opportunity to open up their heart to another person, and they allowed the opportunity to unfold itself. There seems to be regret here when it comes to not having walked a straight path. It seems like this person didn't necessarily have focus just solely on this connection. And not only that, but it feels like they tried to control your perception of it with this gorilla here. I sense that they felt the need to control your awareness of this aspect of themselves that they didn't necessarily want you to know about. And looking back on this connection now, they're really wishing that they would have done the right thing. They're wishing that they would have followed what it is that their moral compass was telling them to do. And I think intuitively they realized that like they were kind of going onto a different path. They were realizing more about themselves and what it is that they want, what it is that they want to work toward. And intuitively they knew this, but they didn't necessarily express it or even acknowledge it within themselves entirely. And they regret not having had that relationship first and foremost with themselves, to be able to be honest with themselves about what was going on. They behaved very selfishly is what I would say with this Star and the King of Pentacles. This person wanted to have their cake and eat it too. One message that's coming through that I think isn't going to resonate for all of you, but it will for some of you, is that this person wanted to have a stable type of relationship and lifestyle with you, all while at the same time getting everything else in which they desired without any regard to you. And I see it here again with the Four of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. I kind of get the feeling that they're acknowledging with this Wheel of Fortune that perhaps this connection had really kind of come to its close. And perhaps neither one of you were willing to admit it, or perhaps you were unaware of how this person was feeling. And rather than allow things to kind of close out naturally and move on, this person decided to kind of shut themselves off and look at other options, all while still having this opportunity in front of them with you. And this is something that they regret. I think at the end of the day, if they felt this way, they didn't, people's feelings change all the time is kind of what this person I feel like is realizing, that like it's normal for your feelings to fluctuate when it comes to how you feel about people or what it is that you want. Things change. Life is all about change. And the important thing would be to obviously acknowledge what it is that you're feeling, but still be considerate of the other people involved. And there were other ways to go about this that didn't that wouldn't have caused pain, wouldn't have caused you great pain, wouldn't have caused them to be disappointed in themselves, wouldn't have caused them to kind of betray who they are or betray what it is that, or kind of dishonor what the two of you had, disrespect what the two of you had. They regret this. But let's go ahead and grab some more oracles and see what else comes through. What does pile 3's person regret the most? We have karmic path. What does pile 3's person regret the most? What does pile 3's person regret the most? And we have protection. Okay, and let's go ahead and get some of these. What does pile 3's person regret the most? We have ripe fruits. And we have the gallery of those who came before. This person is recognizing with karmic path here that this is something that their behavior, their treatment of you, their treatment of others is something that has repeated itself for long enough. It seems like this is something in which they've had many opportunities to be better, to evolve, and they haven't. And I get the feeling that they're understanding that their karma is on its way to them. And with protection here, I think what this is really signifying is an acknowledgement on this person's end of the sacredness that they kind of threw away or dragged through the mud. Like they should have, what this is saying is that, and I see it here with the 7 of Wands as well, they should have protected you. And what I mean by that is, like, I think that they kind of, with control here, with the gorilla card here, they kind of justified their lying or their hiding of certain truths under the guise of wanting to protect you or spare your feelings. But really, all they did was cause harm. The only thing that I feel like they're recognizing you needed protection from was themselves, because they weren't acting in alignment with their highest self. And then with the gallery of those who came before and ripe fruits, this is telling me that what they regret the most is their wandering eye. Is their inability to stay in the present moment, is their inability to have been thankful for what they had received, is their inability to have difficult conversations, to allow things to kind of unfold naturally. They regret this. But that's what I'm seeing for you guys, pile 3. Let's go ahead and get you guys some advice before I close this reading out. What advice is there for pile 3 when it comes to their connection? Okay, we have grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And we have judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. And we have humor. I choose to focus on the lighter side of life. All right, pile 3. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you guys today. Please don't ever, ever, ever forget how worthy you are of a love that is honest and pure and on your side. It's the bare minimum, and you're worthy of it and you deserve it. Thank you so much for watching, pile 3, and I hope that I'll have the opportunity to read for you in another video soon. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can do so in my Etsy shop, and the link is in the description box of this video. Bye, pile 3. Hi, pile 4. So today's pick a card reading is looking into what it is that the person on your mind regrets the most. And before we get into that, we're going to go ahead and look on into what the current energies are between the two of you, just so that I'll have a better understanding of what is currently going on, and you will have a better understanding of whether or not this is in fact your pile. So to start, we have number 19, the Messenger, Number 29, breathe. The sword. Number 28, cosmic exploration. And number 9, treasure island. Okay, so this seems to be like a really clear message to me. So if this doesn't resonate, this probably isn't your pile. Like if there's no truth to what I'm saying, this isn't your pile. Because what I'm seeing is that this connection may have come to a close, or it may have been cut off very suddenly. Perhaps there was an impulsive decision to end this connection in the past, or just a decision that had been well thought out, even for the two of you to go your separate ways. And it seems as though the two of you have kind of gotten back into touch with one another. It seems as though the two of you might be changing your mind, or the energy is shifting between the two of you, and what you both thought would be completely over now seems to be something in which perhaps the two of you are simply taking space, or perhaps the two of you have received the space that you needed, and now you have a clearer mind when it comes to this connection. And it seems like there is still potential in this connection now. With Treasure Island and cosmic exploration, it seems like there are more opportunities for growth when it comes to this connection, because there's been more contact between the two of you. And this could be contact perhaps through like dream travel. It doesn't have to be contact in the 3D. However, for the majority of you, I do think that that is what is in fact happening. But yeah, it seems like a new opportunity has presented itself in a connection in which it seemed or appeared as though it was over and there was nothing left for this connection to give, or nothing left to be explored in this connection in the past. So if that resonates, let's go ahead and look on into what it is that your person is regretting the most. Okay, what does pile 4's person regret the most? We have the 6 of Cups. We have, okay, the 6 of Cups, the Sun, the King of Swords. What does pile 4's person regret the most? Okay, I'm going to go ahead. This is a lot. Okay. And then some fell on the ground, but they didn't flip over. So I will go ahead and put those back in the pile. So we have the 6 of Cups, the Sun, the King of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the King of Wands. Okay, why is the 6 of Cups here? We have the Magician. Why is the Sun here? We have the Queen of Wands. Why is the King of Swords here? Okay, we have the 5 of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups. Why is the Knight of Pentacles here? We have the Knight of Cups, okay, and Temperance. Why is the High Priestess here? We have the King of Cups. And why is the King of Wands here? We have the 8 of Pentacles. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. Okay. And then for your oracles, we have the Magellanic. I've looked it up before and I still can't remember the pronunciation. And the keyword is commitment. We have Paradox Prime. Number 28, excessive pressure. We have smoke screens and wild dog, and the keyword is collaborate. Okay, so what is this person's biggest regret? What do they regret the most? It seems as though this person regrets not knowing what it was that they wanted in the past. They regret allowing themselves to kind of fall victim to their own confusion or their own fears, is what I would say. It seems like they didn't necessarily know what the right thing to do is, or what the right course of action would have been for the two of you in the past. And so instead of making that that commitment to you and working on things, it seems as though they kind of cracked under the pressure of it, and things sort of collapsed. And they're really wishing that they hadn't been so fearful of the things that were coming up, if that makes sense. It seems like their feelings may have been clouding their judgment. Their feelings were very strong for you, and because of this, a lot of fears came up, and it kind of clouded the truth of what it was that they were feeling. And I think that this person really just regret for how many cards came out. This is funny because it's like, it's a pretty clear message, and I think I would have gotten it without all of these cards, but I think that this person really like wants to explain themselves. But I feel as though this person regrets not having allowed themselves to step into their power. We have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, and we also have the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. And I get the feeling that what this is indicating is that this person recognizes that like this is something that they desire, both in terms of passion, but also in terms of their heart space, in terms of their emotions, but their mind got in the way. And their mind kind of rejected this opportunity for emotional fulfillment with you, and they regret that. They regret allowing their thoughts to get in the way of this connection. They regret if they've harmed you in any way, if they let you down in any way, and they regret not having kept their eye on the prize, is what I would say. They regret not having the willpower to work through what would have been really worth it in the end. That's what I'm seeing here. And I think also like they kind of regret having taken things so slowly. But let's keep going. Let's grab some more cards and see what else comes through. What does pile 4's person regret? Okay, so we have number 30, safe travel. What does pile 4's person regret? And we have meditate. Okay. What does pile 4's person regret the most when it comes to this connection? We have left out with the wolves and cornucopia. Okay, so safe travel is giving me a very specific message for just a select few of you, and that message is that they regret not having gone where you went, or they regret not asking you, having asked you to come where they were. If this is a long distance relationship, they're regretting something to do with not having moved that forward. And with meditate here, they're regretting not allowing themselves the opportunity to clear their mind before they made a decision or before they acted on something. And this is something that they regret. They're realizing that there are other ways to go about or navigate the feeling of confusion that don't have to do with running away from it or avoiding it. With left out with the wolves, I kind of feel as though there might be an element here of them feeling as though they abandoned you, and made you feel as though perhaps you weren't necessarily the wonderful, abundant, beautiful person that you actually are. But either way, the core message here with these two cards is that they regret allowing things to get to the point in which they were no longer a part of your life, and they were no longer seeing the blessings that this connection was in fact bringing them, is what I would say. So let's go ahead. That's what I'm seeing for you guys today, pile 4. Let's go ahead and get some advice before I close out this reading. What advice is there for pile 4 when it comes to their connection. We have loneliness. I know that I am never alone. What advice is there for pile 4? Okay, we have regret. I know that I cannot change the past. And discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Okay, pile 4, well, this is what I'm seeing for you guys today. If this reading resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section. This is something that I genuinely love doing, and I love reading all of the comments and reading your stories. So thank you if you are commenting on my videos. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can do so in my Etsy shop, and the link to that is in the description box of this video. And please know that I'm always wishing you guys the best, pile 4. Bye!